TJ here for another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. Thanks everyone for your support, and I'd like to welcome all our new subscribers. Slowly but surely, our grassroots channel is continuing to build, and I'd just like to thank everyone for that. In this segment, I would like to pose a question to those DC elitists. A rhetorical question. Are you blind? A little over a week ago, I did a segment about Newt Gingrich's letter in the Washington Times. He basically it was a great synopsis of the issue he had with, and I'm going to start saying, last year's electoral anomalies. And that's how I'm going to start phrasing it. Electoral anomalies. And Newt Gingrich made the case why he was not going to accept Joe Biden as president. To my knowledge, no details or facts that Newt stated in his letter have been refuted. Now, they may have, they being either the elitists, whether they be Republican or Democrat, the elitists may have smeared Newt, but smearing one's name and refuting the content of the letter, I see as two different things. And anyone who's gone to the Gateway Pundit or the Right Scoop, there is so much video of last year's electoral anomalies. The more you watch these videos, the more upset you're inclined to become. Which brings me to my rhetorical question. Are you blind? A couple days ago, Paul Ryan, the great Paul Ryan, who couldn't even carry his own state when he was Mitt Romney's running mate, Paul Ryan said a couple days ago, under our system, voters determine the president, and this self-governance cannot sustain itself if the whims of Congress replace the will of the people. Did you catch all that? Is he blind to the fact that the electoral anomalies are replacing the will of the people? Are you blind, Paul Ryan, to that? Can you not see what's before our very eyes? Then pretty much kind of this couple days ago, I might even been on the same day, Pat Toomey, a RHINO Republican out of Pennsylvania, took issue with Josh Hawley out of, I want to say, Missouri. And Josh Hawley basically got tired of Pat Toomey's nonsense and challenged him to an electoral debate, a debate about the electoral anomalies in Pat Toomey's own home state of Pennsylvania. Mr. Toomey, are you blind to the electoral anomalies of your own home state? A couple days ago in the Gateway Pundit, I read a news report that the Democrats they're having a little bit of a debate. And they're considering canceling President-elect Biden's inaugural parade. And they're going to use COVID-19 as the excuse. But they're considering canceling the debate. And you know why? Because they are afraid more Trump supporters will show up than Biden supporters, and what's supposed to be an inaugural parade could very well turn into a MAGA rally. So I ask you, DC elitists, are you blind? Mitt Romney, or perhaps I should say Pierre Delecto, calling out Ted Cruz for his position on last year's electoral anomalies. Pierre Delecto is reported to accuse Josh Hawley, the same Josh Hawley that Pat Toomey was calling out, accused Josh Hawley of being dangerous to democracy. I'd like to ask Mitt Romney, are you blind to the fact that these electoral anomalies are in fact dangerous to democracy? I'd wonder if he was blind, but I knew that years ago. Heck, he didn't even have the stomach to fight Obama. Right before New Year's, I want to say on New Year's Eve perhaps, Ben Sasse, Republican from Nebraska, said, "Adults don't point a loaded gun at the heart of a legitimate self-government." Mr. Sasse, are you saying last year's anomalies are not pointing a gun at the legitimate self-government? Are you blind? These RHINO Republicans, because they're all rhinos and maybe even never Trumpers. I know at least one of them is. They've chosen to be blind to the fact of last year's electoral anomalies. You got, and I haven't even touched on the Republicans that are too yellow-bellied or weak-spined, or however you want to phrase it, just too chicken shit to take on the DC elitists who, well, refuse to acknowledge last year's electoral anomalies. And I hope you've come to identify my new code word here, electoral anomaly. To these RHINO Republicans, their hatred and contempt of both President Trump and us has blinded them. They hate him and us more than they love this country. I doubt they'll admit it, but actions speak louder than words, have we not heard? They become upset with us because we just don't want to accept last year's electoral anomalies as a legitimate election. So I say make way for the new banana republic, because here we come in the fast lane. And that's it. I've said my piece in this one. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.